Yo, welcome to B-Boy Tech Report. Today we're talking about the Yamaha Reface CS. It's based on the classic Yamaha CS series from back in the 70s. You know, most notably, at least in my book, is Stevie Wonder that played the Yamaha CS, whatever. There was a whole range of them. But at any rate, this new one, it's a 37-key mini key keyboard. The mini keys are pretty nice. I like them. But if you don't jive with mini keys, this won't make a difference to you. However, if you're the kind of person that's on the fence with mini keys, I will say that these mini keys are probably the best I've played. Mini keys nonetheless. So if you have big hands, you know, it can get a little fiddly to play them. And that goes for all the Refaces across the board. It makes it easy and portable. You can throw it in your book bag and you can go. It has a little looper on it. The little looper has like stop, record, and it's very simple, but you can play your ideas out on it. Overall, I think this is a dope piece, but let's get into the Yamaha CS and see what it's like. All right, here we go. The Yamaha CS, B-Boy Tech Report. So here we are with the Yamaha Reface CS. When I heard that the Yamaha Reface CS were coming out, or not just the CS, but the Reface in general were coming out, I was all excited about the CS. Just because that's, you know, one of those old school synths. It's modeled on one of those old school synths that I've always wanted and haven't been able to come by. You know, the aftermarket is crazy and it just is what it is. Anyway, the CS was one I was like, you know what, I don't care what nobody say, I'm getting that joint. Then I heard it was $5.99 and that kind of took me back a little bit just because it was smaller, battery powered. It's based on the AN synth engine. So obviously it's not analog, it's analog modeled. And now that I've heard it, it sounds great and got a chance to play with it. It's, you know, to look at it at first, let me just back up a little bit. When you look at it at first, you can see, you know, it's made of plastic. It's not really, there's no metal parts on it. And let's just kind of go over the connections here. You got the power, you got your power cord, your power adapter, you have your power button. Foot controller, there's a couple of different foot controllers you can get from Yamaha that'll work for that. Your output left and right. Pardon me that this is upside down. So your output left and right. And if you want to just go mono, you can connect it to the left. Then you got your phones, your aux in, so you can actually send audio into there and affect it and do what you need to do. Then there's MIDI. That's like kind of like a mini MIDI. So there's a breakout cable that comes with it. Then there's USB. You can do MIDI connection, you know, to your computer with the USB. And so that's what we have on the back of it. All right. So the dials on the front. Let's go from this side. You have your pitch bend. You have your volume and your octave. So it goes 2 negative, 2 positive. And then you have your looper. Very quick to access. You have your tempo here, and then you just have this slider. You can clear it by just going up to clear, like so. You can start to record. And it's that simple. That's exactly how you get to. So it's that simple. That's exactly how you record. You can pause it, stop it, you can go back, play again. So let's see the tempo. All right, so that's the looper. I mean, it's simple, and you get right in, you get right out. You got the slider to control it. Then here you have your LFO. You can assign your LFO. You can turn the LFO off, or you can assign it to amp, filter, pitch, or oscillator. You have your depth and your speed. Let's hear this thing again. Filter. Pitch. Or oscillator. Or off. Stop that again. You have your portamento. You know, this could be portamento, or you know, you got poly. If it's all the way at the bottom there, so. Or the further you go, you know, you can turn it to mono. And then when you start to go up here, that's the portamento. So from the slider point all the way up, that's the more depth of the portamento. But all the way down is poly. And then one step up is mono. Right? So then you have the oscillator. So you have these different waves you can choose from. And so there's 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. And I'm going to play them. And you have your mod, kind of like you can decide just how much texture of the oscillator, the waveform that you're choosing. You know, so you have your texture knob. Then you have your mod, so you can kind of choose the depth of those two things and really change the character of the entire tune that you're playing. And so then we have the filter. It's a pretty smooth filter, actually. I like the sound of it. Well, hold on. So you can see that the potential is pretty immense. You can really change what you're doing here. Alright, so I'm gonna turn that off. That's how you stop that. Okay, so that's what you have here. You have the oscillator, so you can go through the different wave shapes in the oscillator and kind of define or dial in how much texture and mod you want in there. Then you have the filter, and that's the cutoff and the resonance. You know, pretty easy sliders. I mean, the layout is pretty decent. There's enough space in there for you to be able to tweak this pretty comfortably, I should say. So then you have the EG, the envelope generator. So the envelope generator is the typical ADSR, all right? So you have that. You have your amp envelope generator, and you have your filter envelope generator. And you have this slider where you can kind of slide between the two. So let's see how that works. I'm going to turn this back on. Pull that filter up. Alright, so all the way down is totally amp envelope generator. You can slide between them to get a little bit of kind of both of the amp and the filter generator. Or you can go all the way filter generator, filter envelope generator. Alright, so that's the envelope generator. Now, I'm going to leave this playing and let's go over to the effects. For the effects, you have delay, phaser, chorus flanger, and distortion. You start with the all the way down, then let's go to delay. In case you don't know, I'm definitely a fan of delay. So, you know, you can really dig in and start to get some cool things out of it. You can kind of push up the depth. This is the feedback, really. So let's do that and just kind of get some of that infinite feedback going on. Alright, so that's the delay. Let's go into the phaser. So you can kind of dial in the depth of the phaser, obviously. You can get some really good sounds out of this too. I wish that what you could do is actually dial in 2 effects, but you could only have one at a time. So since you can only have one effect at a time here, I mean, hey, you could easily just run the output out to an effect module, but I think you can dial in some pretty good sounds just right here as it is. So you can see how wild that can get. Pretty good phaser. Alright, so let's go to the chorus and pull these back down. You see how the raw sound is. Now we're going to the chorus flange. Kind of sweet. So you can dial in some pretty good effects, obviously. So let's go back down and go back to the distortion, or go up to the distortion. So that is the Yamaha CS, and if actually I didn't mention, it has speakers here. So you have the speakers on both sides. You can see that the speakers on both sides. Here's a cool thing about the operation of this. I have it connected to power, obviously, but It's also battery operated, and it takes 6 AA batteries to get this guy going. So when you run the Yamaha CS on battery, just be aware that what you'll see is the oscillator lights. You see how that changes the colors? When I turn it on, actually, it shows you all the colors that it can illuminate in. Right, so when it's running on batteries, when the battery gets low, the oscillator light will start to blink. It doesn't typically blink, so if you start to see the oscillator light blinking when it's running on batteries, you know, you should probably switch the batteries or put it on power. The possibilities are pretty endless, right? So the Yamaha CS, I think it actually does kind of meet my expectations. It sounds great. Actually, it sounds even better than I thought it would. And you could do some pretty dope stuff with this. Let's see if we could just dial in a cool little patch for some effects, put some delay. Yeah, so. All right, so that has been the Yamaha CS on B-Boy Tech Report, and like I said, it's a dope synth. And I'll tell you this: it used to be $5.99, if I'm not mistaken. The price is down to $3.99, and I don't think that's a temporary drop in price, but I think it's a good idea. They dropped the price from $5.99 to $3.99, and now I think it's an excellent buy. At $5.99, and certainly before I had it in hand to try it, I was a little skeptical about that price and whether or not it was really worth doing, you know, spending the money to have that. Because I mean, it's digital, even though it's their technology is analog modeling technology. It sounds pretty good. Now, the tough part about it is it's still a digital synth, although it's an analog modeling synth. You know, so it's a digital synth that imitates analog synthesizers pretty well. You know, what you would expect with that still happens, right? So the filter still steps a little bit when you have the resonance up high, so you need to watch out for that. But at the same time, that happens with almost any literally, it happens with any digital synth, and it may even happen with some analog synths that are digitally controlled. That's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. So that said, yeah, it steps a little bit when the resonance is high and you're doing filter sweeps. However, I'm not a person that likes high resonance. I'm a more smooth type of sound of preference. That's my preference on the keyboard, more smooth sweeps. So I usually don't have the resonance too high, so that really wouldn't bother me much. But it's still worth mentioning that, yeah, it's a digital synth. So if you're one of those dudes that like high resonance and fast sweeps on the filter, you're gonna hear some step, and it's not as smooth as it could be. That's not something that I would say, yo, I'd pass this up if I were you, because now it's $3.99, and so, you know, it's a dynamite synth for that type of money. It sounds great. You can get such a wide range of sounds out of it, from, you know, sound effects to nice bass and pads, because it does have 8-note polyphony, so you can play 8 notes at the same time. And, you know, 8 notes is quite a bit better than you can get with other synthesizers out there in the same range. There's a few of them out there that I won't name that actually have 4-note polyphony, and which was kind of a disappointment, even though the sound was great. So in this case, the sound is great, and it has 8-note polyphony. However, those mini keys with hands as big as mine are not going to allow you to play 8 notes at the same time. Still, what you can do, and what I've done with a couple of the Reface, I don't think I got a chance to show you in this video, but I'll show you in the subsequent videos. You can connect your controller. So I have a 49 key and an 88 key controller that you can easily connect to it and play that way. So then you use it as a sound module. Although these mini keys are some of the best that I've heard, that I've played, they feel great. The action is dope. Certainly they feel like a bigger keyboard, a more expensive keyboard, but there's still mini keys, like I said. So if you don't jive with mini keys, you ain't gonna jive with these. But you might consider it if you know that the touch and the feel is A1. So that's the Yamaha CS in a nutshell. So you got the 6 AA batteries. I would recommend you get a like recharger, like a 6 AA battery recharger or something like that, so you don't run through batteries. And it also comes with power, but it has the 2 speakers there. It has the proper output, and it has USB, MIDI over USB. So it's a dope synth. I'm definitely certifying it dope, but if I could change anything, it would definitely be the keys, and even still there's a workaround to that. So yeah, no complaints. If you're looking in the market for a small keyboard, or if you're a beat maker with limited space, and you got your 9 times out of 10, if you're rocking like an MPC, in my case, rocking an MPC or rocking a machine or something like that, a push, something like this is really dope, because you get the hands-on experience of learning how synthesis work. And it also has like 5 different waves that you can go through, or oscillators, or whatever they want to call them, and they all have different characteristics, so it's a wide array of stuff. Anyway, that's the Yamaha Reface CS, and check you next time on B-Boy Tech Report. Peace.